Hello everybody, how are you guys doing? Becky, Raney here, and I'm going to show you today how to make soy wax candles. And this is going to be really fun. I've made them once before, so I did a little bit of research and I'm going to give you some really great tips on how to make some really great candles. So basically, you want to pick out a really good quality soy flakes, and the soy wax comes in different measurements. It comes in a measurement of 415, I think it's GM measurement. And the 415 means it's 100% pure soy wax. And that's really a great quality. You can also get it in 444 or 465 measurement, and that means it's been stretched with other fillers and things like that in it to help it pour better. When you're using 100% soy wax, it actually puts a white film on top of the candle and it may not pour as good. So they like to use different soy wax that has fillers in it. Well, I'm not using that today. We're going to do our own. We found a recipe on the dōTERRA DIY blog, and it talks about using 100% soy wax along with doing some beeswax and also some coconut oil. So we're going to go ahead and add that. I decided to use the solid coconut oil because it didn't indicate if it was fractionated coconut oil or the solid kind. And I'm using a organic beeswax, and the ratio is 3 parts soy wax, 1 part beeswax, and 1 part coconut oil. So I went through and did the math. I'm going to make 6 of these candles, and each candle glass is 1 cup or 8 ounces. And so doing the math, I came up with 48 ounces total. Divided that up, it's going to require 28.8 ounces of soy wax and 9.6 ounces each of the beeswax and the coconut oil. And one of the things that was really interesting, I was trying to decide between the difference between, a lot of the recipes talked about using a fragrance oil, and I was trying to figure out what the difference between essential oils and fragrance oils. Fragrance oils as well are also stretched along with other additives and things so that they don't flash off. Essential oils, especially dōTERRA's, they're pure essential oils, derivative from plants. So they're natural aromatic compounds from plants that are going to be very volatile. So when you add them to hot, when you heat up the wax, they're going to flash off. And so that is another reason why you might want to use fragrance oils, but we're going to actually do a little trick. I added some of the essential oils to some melted down coconut oil so that way it can infuse into the coconut oil. We are going to heat the beeswax up to 185 degrees and then let it melt, and then we're going to cool it off to about 130 to 135 degrees before we add the rest of the scent. Then what we did, we kind of got really creative here, is you're going to need to have, here's all the ingredients you're going to need to have. You're going to need to have, of course, beeswax, soy wax, coconut oil, and then you're going to need to get these fun little wick sticks that have a little metal part on the bottom. And what we did is you're supposed to stick them in a wax. So I have some wax in here. So you take the thing, and you're going to stick it on the bottom of the glass. So I just dipped it in some of the wax that I pre-melted, and then you just hold it down here on the bottom of the glass and it's going to stand. But when you're pouring hot wax in there, it's going to melt that again. So you want to stabilize the wick so it will stay in the middle. So what I did, set this aside here, is I decided, they have little fancy tools you can buy, but who's into buying extra stuff, is I cut out some cardboard from a soda box, and I'm going to just bend it over the top of the jar so that I have a little stand like this. Can you see that? And then I cut a little slit here in the middle and a little hole, so there's a little breathing room for the wick to stand. And then I'm just going to slide it in so that we'll make sure that when I pour the wax that it won't come loose and slide all over the place. So ta-da, that's my fancy little, can you see that? There, my fancy little holder. So we pre-did a bunch of them, Mom's helping me here, and so we have 6 of them all ready to go. So you want to prepare that. And then I'm letting my oils infuse in this little coconut oil. And I just did a little bit because of course we want the coconut oil to melt. And I pre-melted this and let it cool down a little bit. So the other things you're gonna wanna get is maybe some decorative stuff. So I had some really fun lavender from my garden and some other little fun things. And some yarn and this wrap, I don't know what you call this stuff, but this is really fun. So I'm gonna decorate the candles with all this stuff so that they'll be pretty. And you're gonna need a thermometer, of course, the essential oils. So we picked out some of the really great essential oils that we looked up are like lemon eucalyptus and citronella, of course, is a really beautiful essential oil that is really bug repellent type. You know, but when I open up the lemon eucalyptus, it has more of a stronger scent. And since we're using not fragrance oils, we're using essential oils, we're gonna need to test it and see which way or how strong we want it to be. And lemon eucalyptus to me smells stronger than the citronella. And of course, I kind of don't care so much for the smell. It does remind me of the off spray or something like that growing up, but this is a much smoother smell. The lemon eucalyptus is much, I don't know, I like it better than the citronella. Other essential oils you can try would be like a peppermint essential oil and clary sage. We've got clary sage here, which is a beautiful like floral scent. And then we have tea tree, which is a really nice cleansing scent. And so I thought we could experiment with some of those today. Some of the other oils recommended for bug repellent type would be like a Roman chamomile, and what else do we say? Geranium. And did I say that already? Geranium, Roman chamomile and geranium, yeah. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead now and start melting this. And then we're going to probably take some time. I'll take a break and then we'll come back and then we'll go ahead and show you how to manage the rest of it. So we want to measure, we decided it was 28 ounces. And 28 ounces is just a little bit shy. This is a 32 ounce container. And so look at that. So we're just shy of the measurement that it's supposed to be. I'm gonna pour that in here. Okay, and then we wanted to add the coconut oil. And then we're gonna add the 1 cup of beeswax. And I think the beeswax is a lot more of a stabilizer type of a product. And I think since we're using the coconut oil, that's gonna soften it. And then this is gonna make it a little harder. So it's gonna probably work together. And we're putting it in a double boiler. So you can do many different ways. You can put it in a microwave. You can, but if you're gonna put it on the stove, you wanna use a double boiler. This can is purchased specifically for making candles because it has a plastic handle on it. And this plastic handle is really nice for just grabbing. It's not gonna burn your hand. I already got some water boiling here, so I'm gonna just go ahead and put it in here. And I don't know how long that's gonna take, so we'll just keep stirring it. I have a wonderful spoon that won't melt, and we'll just keep stirring it here. And we want to take it up to, again, you want to melt it up to a flash point, or it was 185 degrees. And so that may take some time. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and then we'll get back to you when it's all melted. So some of you may want to see what it looks like when it's been melting here. And I don't have that fancy camera that shows you, but it's kind of starting to melt pretty good. Okay, so we had our fancy assistant, my mom, stirring the wax here, and it's all done. And we took a little extra time to melt it so that way the beeswax would be fully melted. Sometimes beeswax tends to look like it's melted, but it turns clear, but it still needs to be, you know, coagulated, I don't know what you'd say, mixed in together. And so remember, I couldn't find my thermometer around here, but we want to make sure it gets down to about 135 degrees. So we're going to just continue waiting and making sure that that gets down to a proper temperature before we add our citrus oils to it. Okay, so here we are back, and it's cooled off. You can see how it's starting to thicken up. And so we want to start moving quickly. And I have not added the scent to it yet, so I'm going to do that now. This, remember, was the coconut oil that I added the citronella to, and the lemon eucalyptus. And again, remember, essential oils tend to flash off when things are hot. So we cooled this down to around 125 degrees, we're hoping. And usually that's when it starts to turn into a solid state. So it was starting to turn into a solid state. So we know it's cooled down, and it's cool to the touch here too. So and I'm just checking to see if it smells nice. And you know, it's really dependent on how much scent you want. I'm going to go ahead and add about 20 more drops, because it was saying with the 3 tablespoons of the soy to 1 tablespoon of the coconut oil and 1 tablespoon of the beeswax to do about 20 drops. And so when I was doing the math, it seemed to be really heavy on it. Sometimes recipes tend to depend on how many drops to what oil scent that you're working with. So like lavender tends to be a very strong scent, where maybe some other oils don't have a strong scent at all. So you want to adjust the drops accordingly to what you're working for and how much strength you want. So we're going to add about 20 more drops. And this here, of course, we did not put it with the other coconut oil, but that's okay. So we're going to go ahead and start pouring in. And I'm going to put this there. And we cut down these little protectors there so that I could have room to pour. And Mom and I were looking at it thinking, there's not enough beeswax in here, or not enough wax in here to make 6 candles, and she's right. Whoa, I filled that one up too full. Do this one here. And I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make some more of that. But what you're going to want to do is let this sit and cool for overnight before you touch it or mess with it. And then you're going to cut the wicks down about 1/4 inch to, you know, just a little bit above that. And you want to wait until the wax is cool, because you can wiggle the wax and the wick and the wax, and it will not look pretty. So wait until that is done or cooled off. You can put it in the refrigerator, but I would recommend not to do that. And then what I'm going to do once that's all cool is I'm going to then decorate it with, I found some lavender from my garden. And so this is going to be really fun, is I'm going to take and tip this off and put a nice little thing, and I'm going to wrap it so that it's on top, and we'll make a nice little package. So we'll show you that when it's all cool. We'll come back again, okay? Well, okay, everybody, here we are with our final product here. And what we're going to do is take this part off, and we are going to cut the wick just about 1/4 inch to, I'm going to go a little bit taller. I think I kind of like the way the wick looks. and it's really tough to cut because there's a wire in it. So use a really strong scissors, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to take some raffia. See how pretty this looks? You can get really creative and do some different kinds of jars. This is a canning jar that I used to use for a vase, but I think it'd be really pretty to do something with that. And you can also do some of these jars, which make it really kind of fun to do, those little lids. And we also had done some candles with these little, I think, what are these, Mama Pint? Half a cup? Half pint?
I think.
And you can do little candles in that. See, we have a little candle here. And what's really fun is when you use these little jars is you can take and put, like here's a candle that we did a while ago, and we put these little oil, you know, we get these little stickers, and these stickers you can take and peel off and put on top of the lid what's in here, so you know what scent it is. So it's just a nice little way to remember what you did, and when you're giving these as gifts or something like that, people, you know, you can do different kinds and stuff. It's kind of fun for people to know what you got. So I hope this was fun for you. I would love to hear what your creations and the different scents that you came up with, and look forward to seeing you again. So all in on oils, everybody. Bye. Have a good day.